What's going on, guys? Welcome back to CK2 Plus in the house, Karling. One last time before we continue in EU4. Actually, this video is already going to be split because I want to go over the map modes and I want to check out the ledger, and I want to see how that transfers over into EU4. So the first part will be CK2, then there will be a small cut, and I will show you how all of this looks in EU4. Also, in that second part, that will include a vote. I will present a few options of countries that we're going to play, and you guys get to choose one, but I'll get to that a little bit later. Let's first start off by looking at the regular map. This is obviously what we've seen the entire game, basically, often focused on France, but this is the world all the way zoomed out. I'm actually going to turn this off here as well. There's no India, but India will be filled in by the regular EU4 India, so that's fine. Yeah, so I guess there's not really much I need to tell you here. You basically know all the great empires, the Mongols, the Holy Roman Empire. We've got the Bulgarian Empire, the Byzantines, and the Musaffarids. Those are the empires: Orthodox, Catholic, and, well, I guess the Mongols are Orthodox as well, but they're a little bit special. The rest are, you know, just kingdoms. Takrur, for example, Abyssinia are very powerful, and of course, France, probably the strongest kingdom. And France, to be honest, should be its own empire. I mean, but anyways, let's actually, before we check out a few map modes, I do want to go over the ledger and see if there's something interesting. Domain is not that important. Realm, yeah, that's not that important either. Religions. For that, of course, we're also going to check out the map mode, but we can have a quick look here. Obviously, the Catholics are the strongest. They have 100 authority, and the size of provinces is incredible. And next up, actually, let me see if this is... Yeah, this is ordered after size. Okay, so as you can see, Orthodox have 200 provinces. So, yeah, all the Catholics together, roughly at 900 provinces, which is insane, especially if you consider that the rest of the religions have maybe, well, slightly over 100 together. So the next up is actually the Reformed Sahelians. That is amazing. The Muslims, unfortunately, are very, very terrible. They're really in a tough spot. And surprisingly, the Copts don't look all that strong, but you will see this is because most of them have converted to the Monophysites. I've realized now this is actually not that much fun checking this out here. Let's actually go for the map mode. So yeah, Catholics, obviously incredibly powerful. We've got two huge Catholic empires, Iberia, France, and then the British Isles are all Catholic as well. And yeah, a lot of North Africa. I mean, Egypt, the Holy Land with Jerusalem, still under Catholic control. And yeah, all of this is Catholic. Lithuania, Scandinavia is all Catholic. And the Orthodox, obviously very powerful, especially since the Mongols have converted. That was a huge boon. And then, you know, ever since the huge Muslim caliphate fell apart, the Orthodox have just been converting and pushing ever south. I mean, surprisingly, Medina is actually Catholic, but Mecca, for example, is Monophysite, which is just Coptic. It's a Coptic heresy, but it has replaced, yeah, basically Coptic as the main faith. But I believe this does not matter for EU4. This will just be Coptic in EU4, so it's not really... It doesn't really make any difference. Yeah, as you can see, there's a few Muslim holdouts. Maybe the most prominent are the Hamidites here in North Africa. The only ones that have survived so far. They were at some point the Empire of Carthage. Very, very powerful. They spread all the way over here and even had parts of Sicily under control. And yeah, these are the last remnants of them. And they're actually not even Suni. They're now Quranist, but I can tell you already that... that is also not converted properly, unfortunately. Yeah, the Takrur we know about. Several crusades have been led against them, but they've always kind of managed to hold them off. Tassili, for example, was a crusader state twice, but now, once again, it is Reformed Sahelian. So this is pretty impressive, how these guys have managed to defend themselves. Right now, there's another crusade in place. I think this is the third crusade against this realm, and I will actually make sure that this takes place in EU4 as well. Yeah, other than that, we have the Umayyads over here, a Kharajite, yeah, sultanate, but they have a lot of other heresies they need to deal with. And then something that I will already point your attention to, we have this duke here. He is Al-Aznan, a Suni heresy, apparently, although some people told me this is not actually true. They hold these lands over here under control, and I mean to make them a vassal in EU4. Yeah, other than that, yeah, as I said, the Sunnis are still in a lot of trouble. Their best hope are probably the Persians over here. Shah Jamshid II of the Bahman Shahdam, as well as Shah Pejeng of Dari Yuzid. These two are the hope of the Sunnis, but there will be some Sunnis in India, and I think there's some in southern Africa as well. So even if those people fail, there will still be some Muslims in EU4. Yeah, that was religion. I guess we can... yeah, I mean, this is not too important. The Shia is obviously from when the Mongols were still Shiite. There's even a few Tengri provinces, which I find surprising. But yeah, let's switch over to cultures. Not much has changed here, to be quite honest. There's a few things like, for example, this is Breton, and there's Catalan over here. But yeah, for the most part, cultures don't change all that much. This is Swabian. What? That is really surprising. Okay, so a few changes have happened, but only here and there. For example, Jordan, when he was king of France, he put in a lot of work to make Burgundy, for example, Norman and other provinces as well. So I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, as I said, for the most part, not much has changed. And this should transfer over to EU4 relatively easily. There's a million cultures almost in EU4, so that shouldn't really be an issue. What else is there to see? I guess we could check economy. That is not really a great indicator because the green is not, like, you can hardly see the difference, only if a country is like, or if province is really bad. But yeah, that's actually, that hurts my eyes. I'm gonna click that away. Yeah, I think there's not all that much to check out other than religion and culture. So let's see if, yeah, we can find anything here. Characters, dynasty, direct vassals, vassal in the realm, court. Independent states might be important just to see. Obviously, this is not development directly, but it gives somewhat of an indication of development. So right here we can see that by far the Holy Roman Empire is the largest realm, but the Holy Roman Empire obviously is not a single entity. In EU4 it will be broken apart. Then we have got France and the Musaffarids, the Levant. They are on equal strength. Then we've got the Mongols, not too powerful, and they will likely be a little bit more powerful in EU4, especially when their Asian holds are added. Then Bulgaria here, and the Byzantines. Okay, and then you can see the rest. Persia also not looking too powerful, but I think that will change as well. Yeah, okay, and then there's some very small nations that will never appear, especially the Holy Orders. None of them are actually landed, so they will not make an appearance, unfortunately. Okay, yeah, no, actually, never mind. Let's check one more thing. Let's check the army sizes, because that's a little bit different. As you can see here, even though we don't have the strongest realm, we have by far the strongest armies. Now, right now, France, especially with Augusto leading, we could defeat the Levant and the Holy Roman Empire. Even though they have slightly more troops combined, we would absolutely destroy them in a war. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that is worth showing, so I will stop here and I will make a quick cut, and I'll see you in EU4. Welcome back, guys, to the world now in EU4 as created by the converter. Although I do have to mention, I spent quite a significant amount of time fine-tuning this save and making some personal adjustments, mostly provinces, but some other things as well. Now, let's go over all of this. I need to make sure that I don't get into too much detail because there's so many things I want to talk about. I love conversions. It's incredible. Now, first great power here is Ming. That has nothing to do with CK2. It's just the usual thing. However, one thing to note is that they do not have the most development as usual. It's actually the Mongolians that have the most development, although not by much. And as you can see here, they're only second rank because their development, or their great power rank, is divided by their current tech cost. And that is because they start off as one of the only nations that does not have feudalism embraced. Now you'll see a few provinces here in Ireland, as well as over here, that do not have feudalism either, but these are the provinces I had to personally add because they were uncolonized due to, you know, conversion issues. But all of the countries here at least have feudalism embraced, but the Mongols don't have it embraced, and it's going to take them a long time and will make them weaker as time goes on. And so that I think was a great nerf already. That means they are going to be falling apart. They're already on the decline, sort of. We've seen that in CK2. They already had their peak with Kiev and Finland under control, and they're already being destroyed. But I'm definitely looking forward to watch their complete destruction here. Yeah, that's this great power. Then we've got France. Now, for France, would be even stronger, or was initially even stronger in EU4 because it was, well, it was transferred over as a full nation, or as a single nation, and I've decided to create a few vassals. First, I created Normandy, and by the way, this is no typo. This is, I had to do this. I had to create a custom nation to get the Ventalen house in here, and I couldn't name it Normandy because Normandy is already in the game. So that was a little bit unfortunate. So don't be, I hope this doesn't annoy you too much, but you can hardly see it really. I guess you probably didn't even notice had I not mentioned it. But yeah, I made Normandy. I created them, of course, for my Patreons who have created these two custom houses to give them some representation in EU4 as well. And I've made them a march so that they stay around a little bit longer. Likewise, I have created Flanders as a personal union partner because the current Duchess of Flanders and Berry is the Queen of France, and her titles would eventually be inherited by Gilbert Karling, who's also the heir to the kingdom. So that is one thing. Also, this serves as a nerf to France because it takes a long time to annex a march, and it takes even longer, more than 50 years, before you can actually integrate a personal union. So it's going to take a long time for France to get these very highly developed provinces under control here. Furthermore, I've just released Toulouse, and I've already established an alliance with Provence here to fill up France's remaining relationship slots. And this means that France cannot get any other allies unless they break their alliance with Provence. And no one else can ally France and use them for their wars, because France is an incredibly powerful nation, and especially now that the Holy Roman Empire is split into various smaller nations, France could easily be abused by some of these smaller nations, and I wanted to avoid this. The only one who gets a free pass here is Provence, because in the game, the Duchess of Provence is actually married to the heir of France, Gilbert Karling, so they get a little bit of a pass. We'll see if they get to exploit that. Yeah, that's France. I actually, oh damn, I spent too much time there. Then we've got the Bahmans here. They are the Suni great power, but they're in a really tough spot. We've seen that before because their religion is a mess. The Muslims are really in a bad spot. They have tons of heresies they need to deal with. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to point it out. You can see it here. There's even Nestorian here. And yeah, this is something they're going to have to deal with. They're also obviously bordering the Mongols. They're bordering this very powerful nation, and their country is split as well. So we'll have to see how they do. Then we've got the Bulgarian Empire, which is already nerfed because they have two vassals. The converter created these two vassals, so there's nothing else I had to do, and that will keep them occupied for a while. So a lot of their strength is basically taken away from their direct control and put into their vassals. Then we have Ethiopia here. For Ethiopia, I decided to just leave them because they're sort of in a spot where they're insignificant by default. There's not really much they can do over here. Obviously, they can attack Yemen and try to expand further into north, but they don't really have many regions to expand to, so I felt like this is fine. And also, there were no vassals I could really create that felt like it would fit. Now, one thing I should mention here that I already talked about, the monophysite religion is just converted as Coptic, so there's no difference here. I did, however, create a vassal for Yemen that I, called Yemen. The reason is that this is a Al-Aznan duke, a very powerful duke that actually had all of these lands under control, and I've decided to release them because they led some very powerful rebellions against their king, the king of Yemen, and the rebellion was only able to be put down with the help of Ethiopia, and so I felt like this fits, and also I kind of wanted to bring this religion, give the Al-Aznan religion a little bit of a chance, so we have now one nation fighting for them. Yeah, that is that. Let's check out the next great power. We've got Byzantium. Byzantium spawned into the game here with 4 vassals. So just like with France, they have all of their relationship slots filled, which means Byzantium cannot get any allies, and they're going to have to deal with their vassals. But they have a lot of claims, permanent claims even, and there's some independent countries like Thessaloniki, Athens, and Epirus that they can hopefully attack and grow more powerful. But we might also see their vassals declare independence. That's possible as well. Now, the Musafarids are not listed as a great power. Instead, we have the Masudids here, the Catholic kings of Egypt. But I think that will change as the game actually starts because they have more development. The Musafarids, they spawn as a entire nation as well, but I have decided to make Armenia a march because, well, actually, look at this, they have 63% liberty desire. Cool. Because Armenia was a kingdom tier vassal under the Musafarids, but they also had a different culture, obviously Armenian culture, and they were the last ones to join, and they rebelled several times, successfully as well, against the Musafarids. They've always been reconquered, but I kind of wanted to represent that, well, that interesting relationship between the two of them. Alright, that was that to the great powers. I already mentioned the Holy Roman Empire. Obviously, that has been, well, that has been sort of destroyed, and now we have various smaller nations. That's usually what happens, but it has its own mechanic, and so basically all of these small realms get boosts from being in the empire, and of course they always have the chance to become emperor, and that gives some great bonuses as well. Now right now you can see the emperor in burgundy red or whatever. This is Moravia. They also have lands here from the last Holy War, but I don't think they're going to be able to hold on to them for very long. The green parts are the princes, the regular princes of the Holy Roman Empire, and orange are the electors. The Converter takes the strongest nations and places them as electors, so that's the reason why we have Sicily, Tuscany, and Swabia here. The Pope, I think the Pope is always default an elector if the Papal States are part of the Empire, and I have no issue with that. The game started off with only 6 electors, and I went in and made Holland an elector because they're bishops. And I kind of wanted to keep the historic theme where there were worldly electors and spiritual electors. Now, in this game, instead of a 3-to-4 ratio, we have a 5-to-2 ratio, so the Papal State and Holland are the only spiritual electors. The 2 electors I'm very unhappy with is Brittany, because they actually never got to vote in CK2, and Ferrara, because Ferrara is actually very weak. I don't know why they were even considered. But there was not really much I could do. I would have given it to Austria or Brandenburg, but I don't actually know how to remove an elector. So we're just going to have to live with that. Now, one interesting thing I should mention is that these lands up here, York, for some reason it's called Andhra, is part of the empire, and Brittany, which is also part of the empire, has a province here as well. So even though England is the most powerful, they're going to have some issues potentially, because the empire might get involved. Also, speaking of England, their current king in CK2, this is from CK2, was excommunicated, so I made sure to represent this in the game as well. Another thing I did was, as the papacy, I started a crusade against Takrur. This is different from the crusade in CK2 because it's not an outright war, but any Catholic nation that declares war on Takrur will get these bonuses that you can see down here. So, you know, it's the best I could do. Also, one thing I didn't do, but I find interesting, is that the 3 cardinals from France are actually represented here. The 3 cardinals that Augusto was, you know, trying to get into the College of Cardinals. The Cardinal of Colleges. Yeah. So this is kind of cool that that is represented as well. Yeah, so that is the map. As I said, I've already shown you the religious map mode here. We can also go over the cultures, but not really too much has changed here to really warrant showing you this. Yeah, now, as I promised, there is going to be a vote, because I have hinted at this several times. We're going to do something a little bit different in this EU4 series. I have now loaded in as France, but we might not necessarily play as France, because we're not going to play just one country. We're going to play a single ruler of a country, and only as long as that ruler lives. And as soon as it dies, I'm going to pause, and we're going to play a different country. Now, I've had an idea like this, you know, playing like this before, but I've recently, and with recently I mean last couple months, been inspired by a German Let's Player, Steinwall. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description for those of you who can speak German. You can check him out, and he's doing something similar, and so I was inspired to do this as well. Basically, what we're going to do is we are only going to play, you know, one ruler, and this ruler has to be between 15 and 30 years old at the start of, well, at any given time when I start to play as a new country. The reason is that if you're younger than 15, you're in a regency, and that has all kinds of problems because you're very limited in your actions. And if you're older than 30, that, you know, can very quickly lead to a death, and then, you know, the experience would be very short. So, with that in mind, I have checked out the current rulers of the various realms, and I come up with 4 nations that you guys can vote on. 4 very interesting nations that, honestly, I would love to play. All of them I would love to play. So let's check out the first one. That is Morocco here. I don't want to go too much into that, but I do want to mention a few things about these nations. The first, as I said, is Morocco here. And it should actually be a kingdom. It's only a duchy rank, but we might be able to change that. Morocco, let's actually get in here. Let's check them out. Morocco is part of the empire, which is maybe the most important thing, and they are Valdensian. They are of the Valdensian religion, which uses the fervor system like the Reformed, and they're causing some issues for the emperor. As you can see here, they're a heretic prince, and thus they reduce imperial authority on a monthly basis. So, yeah, the emperor might have some issues with them. However, they are very, very far removed from the rest of the empire, so no one can really do anything against them. They also have a few claims, as you can see here, on neighboring realms. That is just because, as King of Morocco, this is part of your de jure realm. There's a few other nations that have such claims as well. Most important of them is obviously Byzantium. But yeah, so this is Morocco. The current ruler is technically a queen, but she's shown as a duchess here, Beatrice. She's an entrepreneur and very good at diplomacy. So yeah, what can we do here? Morocco is obviously in a great spot to invade Africa. Either here, fight Provence, although they're allied to France, so that's maybe not happening. But, you know, maybe Tlemcen, which is independent. These smaller people, Fouat can be attacked. They can dip into Iberia, and as I said, they can also attack Takrur here to the south. Also, if you live long enough, or if the Duchess lives long enough, we could even start exploring, and maybe we can go for a colony. That would be really nice. The next country on the list would be Aragon here. Now, the Aragonese king is 23 years old. He's a scholar. He's subpar in terms of skill, but Aragon has a lot of potential. Because Aragon has a lot of claims. First of all, obviously, this is all part of the Jure Kingdom of Aragon. Barcelona is going to be a particular problem because Barcelona is part of the Empire, but it's an incredibly valuable province, so we'll have to see what to do here. Also, Andalusia is actually the major power in Iberia right now, so Aragon's going to have to get some friends in order to deal with them. And Aragon, the king of Aragon, is actually also the king of Bulgaria. At some point during CK2, the Archduchy of Austria, as well as the king of Bulgaria, was inherited by the king of Aragon. That's why the king of Aragon now has claims here in Bulgaria, but no lands. And that's also why Aragon has lands all over here in the HRE, because the Archduchy of Austria was retaken, the title itself, but not all of the lands belonging to it. So, yeah, that makes for an interesting situation. Aragon can basically evolve into anything, or maybe nothing. It could collapse as well. Now, one other thing I should mention is that Aragon has unique missions. Now, most nations here have just regular generic missions, but Aragon actually has a few unique ones, you know, integrating Naples, Crowns of Iberia, and so on and so forth. So this could be also interesting. Next nation would be the Suni great power, the Bahmans that I've mentioned before. Actually, I'm going to leave the diplomatic map mode here. They have tons of claims as the Shahs of Persia, and they also have some cores on the Mongol Empire. So this could be really interesting, but most important for them is going to be religion, because their religion is simply a mess, and they're going to have to try and fix that. So they're kind of the Muslim hope, I would say. They're also an empire rank, which is interesting. Now, they don't have any specialized missions, but they have the advantage of having the youngest ruler, because this ruler is 16. So just barely being possible to be played. But yeah, that is rather cool. His heir is very old, must be an uncle or something. Yeah, obviously the Bahmans are in a interesting position because they've got very powerful neighbors, but they have perhaps the greatest potential of them all. Next up would be the Empire of Bulgaria. They are obviously also in a very interesting position. They have the Byzantine Empire to the south that they might be able to fight. They have the Holy Roman Empire to the west and other places. Then they have the whole Lithuanian and sort of East Prussian Polish area that is really uncontested. No one has really claimed this region for themselves. It's a lot of small, even one province miners that are here, and so this could really be conquered. And of course, they also border the Mongols, and so a lot of potential for growth. And of course, with these vassals, they could have some interesting interactions. Yeah, those are the four nations: Morocco, Bulgaria, Bahmans, and Aragon that I would like to suggest. But because this is a conversion game, there is one other single nation that you guys can vote for, and this is going to be the one and only exception to my ruler rule. Because as I said in the beginning, rulers need to be between 15 and 30 years in order to be, in order for me to suggest them. But the one exception is France, because we already started off playing as, we already played as King Augusto, and so even though he is currently 53 years old, I could see us continue as him. But I should mention that even though, I mean, he's an amazing guy, 436, obviously great fighter, I should mention that it's possible that he's going to die within 2 months, or I mean, he can also live until 70, right? But chances are he's going to die within the next 5 years, which is fine. I just wanted to, you know, throw it out there. I already mentioned, obviously, a few things about France, so I don't think there's much more I should add. Only one thing, just like Aragon, France has specialized missions that could be fun, but I wouldn't make that your only reason for going for the Karlings. It's just something I wanted to bring up. Yeah, that was it. So we basically have 5 nations you can choose from. I'm going to mention them again. Morocco, Aragon, the Bahmans, Bulgaria, and France. I will leave a link to the vote in the description, as well as in the pinned comment in the comment section. So please vote. You can also obviously leave some comments trying to sway others into voting for your favorite candidate. But yeah, whatever you want to do. Anyways, that was it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.